Welcome to the SimHanger channel. My name's Mark, the SimHanger for all things flight sim related, and welcome to my hands-on review of the Throttle Pack from Honeycomb, designed to be used with the Bravo Throttle Quadrant and are replicas of those found in the Airbus series of aircraft. 2 and 4 engine throttle levers are included for multi-purpose configuration, as well as an auto throttle disconnect button, spoiler and flap lever with friction lock. The whole package itself is quite small. Like all Honeycomb products, it's got an outer sleeve with relevant information on. You slide off the sleeve, and in this case it's a snug fit, to access the contents within the box. The Honeycomb Bravo Throttle came with 2 sets of handles, GA and commercial, each set in a box and closed with a magnetic catch. This is no exception. Let's just take a quick look at the GA handles. There we are, very nicely presented in a box. The Airbus Throttle Pack is presented and packaged in exactly the same format. There's an instruction manual in a few languages and it's necessarily brief. You get a flap and spoiler handle and 4 throttle handles included, all designed to exactly imitate what's found in the Airbus. All items are made out of a very sturdy plastic, nicely finished, and they do have that feel of quality about them. The cost for this pack is $69.99 US. This is the flap lever with the friction lock, and now let's have a look at the throttle handles. In keeping with the Airbus current range of aircraft, 2 have reverse levers and 2 don't. There are 2 interchangeable buttons on top of the levers, and we'll be having a closer look at those shortly. I've used one as a toga button and one as a auto throttle disconnect. Well, that's the 2 handles without reversers. Now let's look at the 2 handles that do have reversers on them. The reverser levers need clear pressure to move them so you won't flick them accidentally. These are much chunkier than the commercial handles that the Bravo shipped with. The reverser levers activate a physical stop at the base of the throttle to stop you moving the throttles into reverse accidentally. You may be asking yourself why only 2 levers that have reversers on them. If we take a quick look at the Airbus family, there's only 2 aircraft with 4 engines. One is the A340, and that's out of service now and has been for a number of years, and the A380. Still in service but not in production. The A380 has 4 levers, but it also only has 2 reversers, and that's for the 2 inboard engines. The 2 outboard engines have no reversers. This is due to the width of the aircraft, and those engines would be over the edge of the runway. If they had reversers, it could cause some considerable damage. Okay, so let's set this up on the Bravo Throttle Quadrant. First, the spoiler or air brake handle. Like all Honeycomb handles, they only fit on one way, and as some have internal connector pins, you do need to give them a good push down to make sure they seat properly. Now the flap lever with the friction lock, let's see how that fits, and that'll obviously go on the rightmost axis. The extended lip on the base of the flap lever faces inwards, and it's this that provides the friction, and it works very well. You're not likely to tap that and move it accidentally. Put your fingers underneath and lift it up and it moves no problem at all. I can see this being a favorite of mine no matter what aircraft I'm flying. We'll start with the 4 engines, so let's set up axis number 1 and 4. I mentioned earlier that the buttons are interchangeable. They're held on by very strong magnets. You can see the points where they make contact, and we'll be seeing how we can adapt this when we go to the 2 engine setup. This is throttle 1, so it'll go on to axis 2. Again, it only fits one way, and it does need a fairly firm press down to seat it properly. There are connections in the base, so it's necessary and important that it seats correctly. This is throttle number 4, so that's on axis number 5, and it fits on in exactly the same way. The 2 buttons have a locating notch on them when fitting to the handle, so you can't get them the wrong way round. And provided they're on axis 2 through 5, they can be configured in sim exactly as normal. The 2 throttles that have reversers can also take the buttons. If you see here, there's a small lip on one side. It's a metal cap. Just pull it off. It's held by a very strong magnet. And as mentioned, we'll have a look at that when we configure for 2 engines. That's the cap back on, and now let's put it into position. and once again making sure that it seats firmly. And now on to the last throttle handle. It's fitted in exactly the same way. That's on, and we're configured for 4 engines. Whilst we're at this point, let's just take a quick look and see how the reverser locks function. The reversers are upwards, and you can see they move into the reversed position simply and easily, no problem at all. This would be the position for reversers engaged. If I press the reverse levers downwards, and it now won't go past the detent position. They're locked in place. Throttle 2 is locked in position. I'll now lift up the lever, and no problem. We're past the detent. Let's now change our configuration for 2-engine setup. I'll remove the axis I don't need and now take off the button. And I'll try and fit this now to my new Throttle 1. But as I try and fit it, well, it won't fit. The magnetic field is reversed. Let me try and fit this on the other side, and it will fit no problem. It will just click into place, no problem. This just ensures you're getting the right buttons in the right places. The buttons snap into place with a strong magnet, and the fitting is firm. They're not going to become loose or fall out. And there we are. That's our 2-engine setup ready to go. Switching between a 2-engine configuration and a 4-engine configuration is quick and easy as demonstrated. Let's have a quick look at configuration within the sim. We've set ourselves up in sim in the Airbus 320. We now want to head to our controls and configuration, so we hit escape and then controls. Now we want to highlight the Bravo Throttle Quadrant. Make sure that that's selected. The profile I'm using is a generic 2-engine jet profile. And it's only really the throttles I want to have a look at, so to power management and then throttle. In this particular profile, the reversers are engaged by lifting the commercial lever reversers up and down, as one would do for a Boeing. But with the Airbus levers, they're not activated as buttons as far as I can ascertain, just a physical stop, so we need to change the configuration. So to set up a new profile, I go to Preset Manager and Duplicate. I want to duplicate the 2-engine jet profile, and I'm going to rename this 2-engine jet Airbus. That's saved. Now I can make the changes that I want. Just doing a quick check to make sure the reverse levers are not activating as buttons by doing the search for input. Nothing registering. Let's reconfigure Throttle 1. I'm going to click in the top box to overwrite it and move Throttle 1 into the detent position, and it registers as button 26. For Throttle 1 decrease. Now for Throttle 2 decrease. I'm going to overwrite that. I'm going to start scanning and move Throttle 2 into the detent. Button 27 is the area past the detent. That's registered. Both throttles seem to be working fine. I'm happy. Apply and save. And let's go back into the Airbus and test it out. First of all, I'll just check the 2-axis and the throttle range. That's all looking good. Back to idle and raise the levers to remove the latch and push it back into reverse, and it's working just great. To take it back out again, all I need to do is push the throttles forward, and if I push the latches forward, I've got confidence then that I'm not going to accidentally move the throttles into reverse at any stage. Well, that configuration was quick and easy. Well, that concludes my first look at Honeycomb's throttle pack for the Airbus, an optional addition to the Honeycomb Bravo Throttle Quadrant. The cost was $70 or approximately £50. The quality of the product is up to Honeycomb's usual standard and has met expectations. If you're keen on flying the Airbus, from the A319 all the way up to the A380 and everything in between, and you have the Honeycomb Bravo Throttle Quadrant, then this has got to be a serious consideration for purchase. It enhances the realism and the immersion of flying in sim. I suppose the bottom line is I like it and I don't regret spending the money on it. Thanks very much for joining me today, and happy flying. Keep the blue side up. Stay safe everybody, see you soon, and bye for now.